So the things that I focus on, right, and the things really, as I'm interviewing all these longevity experts, the things that you really need to focus on are are the fundamentals, right? Good nutrition is probably the hardest thing to manage, right? And that's what we're talking about. Part of that is because, or a big part of it is because, a lot of the vegetables that you have access to now, not only are they depleted because they've been grown on the same plot of land for so many generations or eras, but they're genetically modified. And I have to tell you, I have an engineering background. And when I first learned about genetically modifying crops, I was like, this is a good thing. Like, if you can just make more food from the same volume of land, how could this possibly be bad? And when you dig in to understand what GMO typically is doing, right? What it's typically doing is making those crops insect resistant, right? Well, what the way that crops become more insect resistant is typically with something called so if you look at gluten is one, lectins are the whole collection of chemicals that plants use to convince animals not to eat them, right? So if an insect eats a particular plant, it gets sick, it stops eating that plant. So the plant has defended itself. In fact, chemical warfare is the only way that plants can defend themselves, because it turns out, as everyone knows, they can't pick up and move, right? They can't move away from the insects. They have to use chemical warfare. So GMO typically increases the amount of lectins that these crops produce. And so guess what? We're also animals. And when we consume these things that irritate the insects, they also irritate us.